everybody. I am Adrienne Falcone Godsell, the Food Whisperer, holistic chef in Tampa, Florida, and I have Christy Slavin with me here today, Professor Posture.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we have been talking all things food related and the relationship between food, health, and posture. So we were talking about muscle mass and how having the proper posture helps with maintaining muscle mass and can even increase muscle mass. And it can be in as little as 5 minutes a day, and it can work up its way from there. And then being women of a certain age, we have to be watching our bone density.
Absolutely.
And even men have to as well. It's not just a female thing. Men definitely have to watch this as well. And it seems as if this bone density issue is starting at a younger and younger age these days.
Yes.
So I know from a food perspective, the importance of your dark leafy green vegetables, about low acidic foods, because your body is going to find a way to leach from your bones first, aka the calcium, in order to maintaining other systems in the body / reducing the acid in your body. So knowing that part food-wise, and we've talked digestion and the role that posture plays with digestion. So let's talk bone density.
Okay. When last we met, we were talking about how the muscles tell bones what to do.
Yes.
We have tendons. Every muscle has 2 tendons at a bare minimum that connect it at each end, and those tendons connect muscle to bone. So if your muscle is properly active and functioning the way it should, that tendon is going to pull on the bone lightly, but it's going to create a little bit of demand for that bone to have more nutrients sent to it. Just
That's
like
that whole having the impact, but it's also with weight-bearing exercises for the bone density.
right.
So this is what you're explaining right now, is the importance of weight-bearing exercises, and maybe it starts with our own body weight,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Weight bearing can be just body weight.
But I really hate push-ups. Just putting that out there right now. Don't make me do one.
I mean, we can start you in a push-up position where you just hold that position and the body learns to become accustomed to just the position. Then we
But
can
not my
start.
head.
Then we start movements. But
Anyway, sorry.
when a muscle is in the proper position and it is active, it's going to give a little bit of a pull, a little bit of a tug on the bone. That's going to send a signal to the rest of your body that that bone needs to be fortified. It needs to be built up a little bit. It needs to have a little more TLC, calcium sent to it, and that will cause that absorption to happen to increase that bone density, if that makes sense.
So in my head that completely makes sense now, because you hear impact, impact exercising is beneficial, like rebounding,
Yes.
for bone density.
Love my rebounder.
And then weight bearing, and it was interesting, I was doing a lunch and learn the other week about carbohydrates and diabetes, and the new research that's come out saying that it's important now. The American Diabetes Association is recommending weight-bearing exercises a couple times a week to improve the muscle mass.
Yes.
So then the muscle mass, the more you increase your muscle mass, the more you can increase your bone density.
The more of a pull, the more of a tug there is on that bone.
Okay.
So yes,
Okay.
the larger, stronger, more prominent the muscle structure is, that's attached to that particular bone, the heavier the pull, the more demand that the muscle is able to exert, and the tendon, because muscles are kind of the ends of tendons are the end of a bone. Whoopsies.
I want to do this live. That was my whole intention. So yeah, we're one and done here, guys.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, the muscle will pull on that bone a little bit more. The tendon will have a little more of a dynamic contraction relaxation concept going on, and that will help the rest of the body send additional nutrients there to fortify that bone. So
Okay.
a stronger muscle
Yeah.
will absolutely help you build bone density.
So here I go sitting on one hip bone. I'm going to get busted for this. I'm calling myself out right now. So that just really falls into this whole play that we're talking about with, so we have the muscles that we're growing, which means that we need to be eating proper proteins.
Yes.
Again, I'm a chef. I am not a dietitian. Working with personal trainers, working with integrative practitioners, working with therapists as yourself and your background as well. We need to have that protein, and especially as we get older, right? We need to have more protein, not less protein, because we're losing the muscle mass at a higher percentage rate.
And typically that's happening, again, from research that I've done, because we are not engaging in as much activity as when we were younger. The more
We don't get to play anymore.
we don't get to play anymore.
Unless we schedule it, and that doesn't mean at a bar. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying adult playtime at a bar does happen, but adult playtime like outdoors or even indoors physical activity we need to be doing outside of whatever our work is.
Exactly.
So being a chef, I'm on my feet 8 hours a day. You have chefs that are on their feet 12 hours a day. You have workers in different positions, whatever it is, that you're on your feet 6 to 12 hours a day. But we still have to do that exercise outside of that in order to maintain / build that bone and muscle mass, correct?
Absolutely. When you are on your feet for that length of time, large portions of that time are static. You're in one position. You're standing in one spot. You might be moving your arms around. So think about it like you've built a 3-foot box.
Yep.
Right here, and that's where the movement is coming from.
Yeah.
There's no movement that's coming from those larger, more demanding muscle structures in the hips, in the legs, and even really and truly in the torso. The abdominal wall is a very large, powerful muscle. The glute, the buttocks muscle, from research I've done, is the densest muscle in our body. Doesn't mean it's the largest, means it's the most tightly packed of muscle fibers that we have in our body based on some research that I've done. Those are the muscles that need to be activated. And if you are a chef or a barista, perhaps, and you are basically walking, 5 steps this way and 5 steps back and 5 steps this way and 5 steps back, that's really not enough to engage those muscles in a way that they are going to have that tug on the bones.
So what kind of postural therapy exercise can you give us an example of one that would be helping with our bone density and muscle mass?
Absolutely.
Muscle strengthening, muscle thickening.
Well, we can actually do this one seated.
Okay.
For those of you who are already on your feet for 6, 8, 12 hours a day, it can also be done standing. So I'm going to have you come to the edge of your chair, Adrian. Excellent. And I'm going to have you put a small curve in your low back, making sure that you are evenly on both hip bones, both of those sit bones. It does help to close your eyes in order to determine if you are evenly weighted one side to the other. Once you've found that even can open those eyes. What I'm going to have you do is you're going to, in a marching kind of sequence, so alternating legs, you're going to lift your feet up off of the ground somewhere between 1 and 3 inches. Palm up just so you don't push on those legs. Good. Try not to lean back as you do it, and try not to sway when she lifts her right leg. I don't want her body to come to the left, and vice versa, just a little bit.
Oh.
So that would mean she would want to make the movement even smaller, because it's called a compensation. If when she lifts her right leg, her upper body has to move to the left in order to make that movement happen, all the right muscles aren't firing.
So this isn't about going like this and doing a march.
Eventually it would be.
Oh, okay.
Eventually it would be.
But not right now,
Not at this juncture.
because I'm swaying.
And some people would actually, rather than going side to side, their bodies would be moving forward and back. So at the beginning, we're focusing on retraining the muscles to do it right.
So like baby steps to Tuesday.
Exactly.
What about Bob? Baby steps to Tuesday.
Exactly.
Walking around the dorm.
And then we work on larger and larger ranges of motion.
Okay. All right.
'Cause
And
if
that is quite a workout I don't know if it's because I have to do a smaller step. So
It is
it's
because
making
you're not
me
compensating.
focus more
You're not compensating.
versus getting up higher, which is a whole bunch easier.
A smaller move can actually be a lot more challenging.
More challenging. That it is.
It absolutely can be.
So then the combination of eating your dark leafy green vegetables and your sesame seeds to get that extra calcium that your body can identify,
Mm-hmm.
and doing some postural alignment therapy.
Absolutely.
And where can we find you, Christy, to get that therapy?
Find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube.
All right. And you can find me there as well. So we can always just have a great big party together on Zoom
Absolutely.
if you wanted to. But thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So all things food related. I'm sure we'll find other topics and we'll be popping in and out real soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.